I'm living my best life. Made a couple M's with my best friends. Turned all my L's in the last.
Hey guys, so today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different on my channel. I'm going to review the Madeleine McCann documentary episode by episode that aired on Netflix. It released a couple of days ago on Netflix, and because I love true crime and have heard about this case before from different YouTubers, I thought that I would kind of review episode by episode and see how I felt about it. So let's go ahead and get into this video. So the first time I heard about the Madeleine McCann case was actually through Stephanie Harlow. I will link her YouTube channel down below. She is a great true crime YouTuber. She has all types of cases on there. Definitely check her out if you love true crime like I do. But to give a little backstory on the case, which they also did in the documentary, Madeleine McCann was a little three-year-old British girl who went missing in, I believe it was Portugal. Her family was from Britain or the UK, very prominent family. Both her parents were essentially doctors, and they went to Portugal to have this great vacation and went to check on their daughter, and their daughter was missing. More specifically, they were going to have tapas at a restaurant, left their daughter like in the hotel, and when they went back to check on her, which they said that they did every 20 to 30 minutes, she wasn't there. So that's kind of what the first episode of the documentary was about. It was basically just setting us up, giving us an idea of the McCann family, what were they like, what was their dynamic like. They were very excited. They say in the documentary, Madeleine was having a ball for the time that they were there. She was having a great time. She was playing. She was being a kid. I'm a 2-year-old. I understand how excited they are and how like every little small thing excites them. They want to enjoy it. They were talking about how Madeleine was having a great time on vacation. She was learning how to swim, and she would go to the kids club, and they would go swimming, and they would go sailing, and she was really enjoying the vacation. In the beginning, the parents were enjoying the vacation, but just like any parents, you kind of want alone time, and this is where things start happening that I don't necessarily agree with. Basically what the parents would do, I'll insert a picture, they would put the kids to sleep. It was them and another set of parents. They would put the kids to sleep at a certain time, and then they would go a ways away to a tapas bar. They would enjoy tapas, drinks, adult time, and periodically go and check on the children throughout the night until they returned back to their rooms. This is where the first problem I have comes in, because I'm a parent, and although Madeleine was a year older than Autumn, they are along the same toddler spectrum. I would never leave Autumn alone and go 10 minutes away from her. I don't even like leaving her alone in the bedroom to go to the bathroom. So that's where my first kind of thing comes in, my first problem. And even hearing Stephanie talk about the case, I was like, why would they do that? Like I said, I will insert a picture so you could see how far away the tapas bar was. That was kind of my first quarrel with the documentary, is that they were definitely normalizing this. They were making it seem like it was normal. They were making it seem like my kid's in the room and I'm in the bathroom, and that's not what it was. In actuality, the tapas bar was about a 10-minute walk, like a 7 to 10 minute walk away from the hotel. And not only that, but where they were staying, they would leave the back door. They would leave one of the doors unlocked so that it's easier for them to get in. Again, another thing I didn't agree that the parents did, and they didn't really touch on in the documentary, and I think they did that for a specific reason. So that is another thing I definitely didn't agree with, is why do that? You know, like, just, they had a kids club, you know, they had a kids club you could have put your children in while you went out, and they would have been safe, they would have been watched, you would have known they were okay. But the documentary was just normalizing what they did, normalizing the fact that they left their kids in one building and went to go do something in another. So I kind of didn't like that. That kind of didn't sit too well with me. Also, Kate, the mom, she mentions that the night before, Madeleine had asked, apparently, her parents, why didn't they come the night before when her and her younger brother were crying? And that was, I guess for me, when I heard it for the first time, when Stephanie said it, to me that was detrimental, because I felt like if they were crying and you were really checking on them as often as you said you were, they either A, would have been up or crying. So, but in the documentary, they tried to make it seem like somebody had tried to kidnap them that night, and it didn't work. And that I didn't agree with. Again, I have a 2-year-old. She woke up a lot more when she was nursing. Now that she's not nursing, she still does wake up throughout the night. Even if I'm in the bathroom, when she wakes up, she will cry. So I don't think somebody tried to break in and take the kids that night, and that's why they woke up crying. I think they woke up crying because they honestly woke up looking for their parents and didn't see them, and so they started crying. So that kind of, again, I feel like they're trying to build a certain image in this case or in this documentary, and I'm not really, I feel like they're kind of pulling at straws, because like I said, Autumn will wake up and cry if she doesn't see me laying next to her and I'm in the bathroom. So I think that's just what the case was. The kids probably just woke up afraid that their parents weren't there and started crying. Something I kind of always said I didn't agree with is, if your kids come to you that night before and tell you, hey, I woke up, I was crying, you weren't there, what happened? Why would they go out that next night? I always thought that was weird. When I first heard the case, I was like, okay, to me, that's kind of weird. For me personally, I would never do that. I would never leave my child alone in a whole different building. But on top of that, if I, for whatever reason, in my right mind, did decide to do that, and then Autumn came to me and said, hey, I was crying for you, you weren't there, I wouldn't go out I wouldn't do it again that next night. If I wanted to go out that next night, I would have put her in a children's club and went out. So that was another problem I kind of had. That anyway, that next night they ended up going out, and when they went out that night, Madeleine was missing when they came back. The whole timeline of events that night is that they put the kids to bed at 8. Once they put the kids to bed, they met up with their other parent friends, and then they went down to the Tapas bar to have a good time, to have a fun time, to have an adult time. While they were at the Tapas bar, periodically they would trade off going to go check on the kids. So every 20 minutes, one of them will go check on the kids. Their family friend had checked on the kids at first. Everything was fine. Everything was safe. Nothing was of concern. The dad had went to go check on the kids. He said when he went to go check on the kids, he had like a proud father. That's what they said in the documentary, that he had like a proud father moment. You know, like if you're a parent, you see your kids sleeping, you're like, wow, I really created that. And you just have like that moment of joy. So he did say that he's seen both kids at that point. And then I think nobody went to go check that next 20 minutes, but then a couple of minutes after that is when Kate, the mom, had got up to go check. And she said as soon as she walked up, she noticed the door was opened a little bit more than it was when she had left. And not only that, but I guess at that point a big gust of wind had came in and shut the door, which I guess was strange to her because they did not leave a window open. When she walked in, she noticed that Madeleine was gone. And again, in the documentary, this was another thing I feel like they didn't put enough stress on. When she noticed that Madeleine was gone, she ran back to the Tapas bar, which, I mean, if running, maybe it was like 7 minutes, 6, maybe even 5. But she ran to the Tapas bar to let them know that she was missing. I thought that was very, very strange. Even hearing the story the first time, I thought that was very, very strange. You have 2 kids that was sleeping in that room. So if one of my children are missing from the room, I'm not gonna leave my other child in that room. I wouldn't even leave the room yet. First of all, I would check every crevice of that room to make sure she wasn't hiding, to make sure she didn't go to the bathroom, to make sure she wasn't playing. Whatever the case is, I would have checked every crevice of that room. And if I did end up going back to the Tapas bar eventually to tell whoever that they were missing, I would bring my second child with me. I wouldn't just leave my other child in the room that my first child went missing from. Like, I always thought that was weird, and I feel like in the documentary they didn't stress it. They really said nothing about it. They kind of didn't talk about it, and again, I thought that was weird. At the end of the day, I want to see how the documentary is going to go. I kind of feel like they just want to get facts out and not really point the blame towards anybody, but I feel like they're not putting enough stress on the fact that I feel like they want to get a lot of the facts out without pointing any fingers. But at the end of the day, I feel like there was a lot of things that the parents did that was strange. They kind of stuck out to me, and they just underplayed them, and they just didn't say anything about them. So that was another thing that I thought was weird, that they kind of underplayed and touched on briefly and then didn't touch on again. So then from there, the documentary starts to talk about basically what Kate thought happened, and right automatically off that, she just ruled out for whatever reason that somebody took her. That was kind of what she was pushing. Even at one point, I think they said in the documentary, the police was like, well, could she have wandered off? And Kate was just dead set, no, somebody took her. And again, I feel like they didn't stress how weird this was, how weird it was for her to just know somebody took her. And I feel like as a mom, you do kind of have intuition, so maybe she did just know. But on the other hand, I feel like this: why was she pushing so hard that no, nothing else could have happened to her? Somebody had to have taken her. Do I think that that's likely? Of course. I definitely think that that is likely. I definitely think that that is a very valid thing. But there's so many other things I would think about before somebody taking her. Such as, guys, she's 3. The night before she woke up and her parents weren't there. I would think the fact that the door was already unlocked, I would think it even more probable that she just went out, wandered off looking for her parents, and went missing. Like, I would think that more probable than somebody came in the room and took her. So again, I thought that that was very weird. The rest of the documentary went completely off the McCann family and off of Madeleine, and talked more about the town that it was in, and that she was stolen from, and how quiet it was, and how safe it was, and how everybody that lived in the town had lived there for such a long time, and they were such a tight-knit community, and it was a community of love and safety. And it just basically set up the story and talked about the towns, that we got a backstory. We're basically setting up the scene to show us that this doesn't happen here. It's not a city, it's a countryside, it's quiet, there's community. Who knows everybody type of thing. Everybody has been there for years type of thing. It's not like this happens here often. So they were really just setting up the stage for that. Okay, guys, that's basically how I feel. We are just on the first episode, so maybe the second episode will delve more into the background of the parents. I am trying to keep that in mind, that we are still on the first episode. So I'm going to try to watch the second episode sometime today and make a video on that and how I feel about it. But anyway, love you guys. See you guys in my next video. Bye.